Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Cole Phillips, author of The Adventure of the Twisted Truths and host of the Book and Dagger. And today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of all time. And this is a movie that I don't think a lot of people are actually acquainted with, at least in my experience. Because whenever I talk to people, I'm like, hey, what's some of your favorite movies? I've never heard anybody in my sphere of contact ever mention this movie. But this movie is very good, and so a couple of years ago, I was scrolling on YouTube. I was going through the free with ads movies. I stumbled upon this, and this movie was called The Last Legion, and it looked really intriguing because there was on the cover there was a lady in armor, and there was a man, like a little boy, and there was an old man in white robes, staff, and there was a Roman general. I thought, oh, this looks really cool. I might have to give it a shot. So I gave it a shot. I watched it, and it was phenomenal. I loved it, and it just in a day when not a lot of great movies are made anymore, this one was top tier. So today we're going to talk a little bit about it, and I'm not going to try to spoil. I'm not going to spoil too much. There will be obviously a few spoilers in here, but I'm not going to spoil any of the major plot twists because I want you all to be able to watch it and basically have, if you've never seen it, watch it and basically feel like I did for the first time. So when I watched it for the first time, I was really excited. It just had me on my edge of the seat the entire time, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So without further ado, let's just get right into it. Basically, the movie takes place, for historical context, the ancient Roman Empire. As it began to decline, it split in two: the Western Roman Empire and the Eastern Roman Empire. And the Western Roman Empire actually fell before the Eastern Roman Empire. And the movie takes place around the time when the Western Roman Empire fell to the barbarians of the North. And the kind of main character is the last Roman Empire, but at the time he's a young boy. And his name is it's I can't remember his name. I'm gonna stick on his screen. It's basically Augustus, something Augustus. That's all I remember. Um, but anyway, so it opens with him. He's a young boy. He's not the emperor yet, but he's a young boy, and so he's wandering the streets of Rome, kind of just doing what young boys do. And he goes into this Roman army encampment, and in the Roman army encampment, he sees the tent of the general, and the general has this fine suit of armor and this really nice sword in the tent. So the boy goes in. Obviously, the Augustus goes into the tent because if you see a cool sword, obviously any boy or any man's probably going to be like, oh, I want to hold that cool sword. It's awesome. But so he goes in there, he picks up the sword, and he's admiring and holding it. And then the Roman general catches him and thinks the Roman general doesn't know he's the emperor, so he catches him as oh, it's a thief. So he takes him out, and he's like, well, I'm going to punish him to set an example. And then this old man appears out of nowhere, and the old man is like, hey, I'm the boy's teacher. Let me take him home. And um, he's like, I'll make sure he learns not to steal stuff and stuff. And well, a Roman soldier is standing nearby. Is like, no, we should punish him. So he steps forward and tries to grab the boy. And the old man proceeds to whip around with his staff and knock the soldier off his feet and into the watering pool where the animals drink from. And so a lot of the Roman soldiers are sitting there laughing, but it's really cool because you're sitting there oh wow, this old man can move. He's pretty handy with that stick of his. Then the old man takes the boy and they start to walk off. And the Roman soldier crawls out of the pool, is pretty disgruntled. He grabs, I think it's an apple. He grabs an apple and he chucks it at the old man. And the old man spins around and catches it, without no trouble at all. Just spins around, grabs the apple, closes his fist, and he opens it. Feathers just pop out. And so this is a really good introduction. I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, wow, this is cool. Who is this old man? I was like, and well, first of all, I was like, who is this old man? And then I was like, are they going to? Is this going to be a strictly historical um, reality? And is this old man just going to be a magician who does sleight of hand tricks, or are they actually going to go full fledged? No, he's actually a sorcerer. And this question does get answered later in the books, or later in the movie, but I will not. I'm not going to tell you that to you guys. So you guys are just going to have to watch it to find out if you're curious. Anyway, so basically the Augustus is crowned Emperor of Rome, even though he's only a child. And shortly after he's made emperor, the barbarians swoop down and they attack the city. Now, the Roman general who is going to punish the boy for looking at the sword, he's actually winds up defending, being the commander of all the forces defending Rome and defending the emperor. So he's out there fighting the barbarians, and he gets knocked unconscious and left for dead on the battlefield. And the barbarians swoop in and they capture the boy, and they're going to execute him, but then the old man intervenes again. And it's really cool because he walks into the room and he basically pulls like another, whether you don't know whether it's a sleight of hand trick or actual magic, but he pulls another one of those on the barbarians and impresses them and convinces them to leave the child alone. And so the barbarians are like, okay, well, we'll just put you and the child on this prison fortress out on this island. So they do that. Now, the Roman general has, he's actually survived the fight. So he leaves the battle. He's crawling around trying to escape. And he meets up with a friend of his, a Roman senator, who is also in contact with the ambassador from the Eastern Roman Empire. And the Eastern Roman Empire has Eastern Roman emperor's ambassador has several warriors with him. And the Roman general has managed to get a couple of his soldiers with him, and they plot a plan to rescue the emperor, because the Eastern ambassador is like, hey, my emperor will give him sanctuary if you guys can rescue him. So the Roman general, he takes his squad of soldiers, and one of the Eastern warriors with him, which it turns out is a woman, which I cannot remember her name. I also cannot remember the Roman general's name. I'm very sorry. They will be on the screen. I've only been able to watch this movie 2 times because YouTube has offered it free twice, and other times it's like paid to buy, and I cannot find it on any other streaming services. But it is an awesome movie, so please forgive me that I can't remember the characters' names. That is a flaw on my part, not the movie's part. Anyway, what happens is the Roman general and the warrior maiden, who is amazing with the sword, by the way, she is crazy good with weapons. The Roman general and the warrior maiden and his soldiers, they go to the island. They rescue the emperor and the old man, which there's another little plot line that takes place, but I'm not going to spoil that because it is an amazing little plot twist there. Basically, they rescue the emperor and the old man, and they take him to where the ambassadors prepared a ship. Now, this is where I will tell you this spoiler because it's kind of essential to what I have to say. But basically, the Eastern ambassador is like, "Hey, I'm sorry, my emperor won't give you sanctuary," and so sorry. Basically, they're like, "Hey, we don't want." Basically, the Eastern emperor is like, "We don't want war with the barbarians who've taken over Rome." And so we're not going to give this child emperor sanctuary. And the senator, who's friends with the general, he actually betrays them because he and the Eastern warriors who are with him, they try to kill the child emperor. And so the general and his little squad of soldiers, they fight to defend the child. And they're actually the warrior maiden who joined them in rescuing Augustus from the island. She actually steps in and saves the general's life from one of her own soldiers and kills the ambassador. And so her lot's kind of thrown in with them. And so they're kind of sitting around like, oh, where do we go? Now we can't go to the Eastern, we can't go to the Western. And eventually they decide to go to Brittania, which is where the last loyal legion will be. So this little group, they all trek over to across the Europe. They take a boat across the ocean or the sea, little sea. Ooh, sorry, I'm really tired today. To Brittania, and they get to Brittania, and they eventually find the last legion has like settled down in this like village, and they've got wives and kids, and so they settle down there and they start living this just happy, peaceful life until the old man has his past life comes back, or events of his past life come back to haunt them because there's an evil king who lives in the area. He's like a native king, and he's really evil and really mean. And he, for I'm not going to spoil this part, but basically it leads to this evil king wants revenge on the old man, which I don't want to give spoilers because I want you guys to watch the movie and enjoy it for yourself because it's a really good plot twist that pays off. And so essentially the evil king attacks the people of the village, and the Roman general, he gets his group of warriors, and then sorry, all the members of the last Roman legion in the village, they line up on this wall, and it's a really cool like wall battle, kind of reminiscent of Helm's Deep from the Lord of the Rings. And they're preparing to fight against this evil king and his army. And the Roman general actually gives a speech that is also very reminiscent of Aragorn's "Stand, Men of the West" speech from the Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King. And it's just really well done. There's a big this movie is like pretty straightforward. It's like got a pretty straightforward plot, like pretty straightforward. Just the characters believe this, so they're going to do this, which I like about it because it's not this complicated. Oh well, should we do it like is this right over here? Is this? It's like no. The characters have a pretty clear idea of what honor is and what they like need to do to uphold it and keep their honor. And they're like, and if they know something's right, they're like, we're gonna do this, like no matter what, which is really nice. I really like that because it is nice to have like a show where the characters are kind of torn and conflicted. But I also just with some like movies where it's just they're just the characters know what they want to do, they know what they have to do, and they're just like, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna question it. This is how we were raised. This is what we believe. So we're just gonna do it. And so eventually they fight against this evil king and his overwhelming numbers in this great final battle. And they eventually emerge victorious, which is great because it sets up, well, I'm not going to spoil, I'm actually not going to spoil this part. I'm just going to leave this part as a cliffhanger. Basically, they win the battle, and then the movie ends with a really big teaser, which is unfortunate because they never made like another movie after it, but it ends in a really big just like teaser of how a certain legend started. And that's all I'm going to say about this movie. It's really good, and if you want to check it out, it's on YouTube, and I'm not really sure it's on any other streaming services, but I know it's on YouTube. If you're lucky, you might be able to catch it when it's free with ads. If not, you might have to buy or rent it. But it is a good movie and totally worth the effort, and they just don't make movies like it anymore. It's just a really good one. And so if you're looking for a movie for next movie night, it's honestly like I wouldn't recommend it for like young kids, but there's not a lot that like if like 10-year-olds, I think 10-year-olds could watch it, with their parents. There's not a whole lot of scary. There are like a few scary scenes here and there. They're nothing like crazy major. There is some like fighting and violence, but on the whole, it's a very good movie, and I hope you guys check it out. And I will see you guys next time.